Hello and welcome to Saturday's edition of Cracking the Cryptic, a truly awesome looking puzzle. Look at this, it's full of tangrams that we're going to have a go at today. It's called Tangram Killer by Michael Lefkowitz. It's definitely not Witz, I've been told that before, who I think also constructs under the name Juggler. This is a very simple but very clever idea where basically cells that are sort of half in cages like that one contribute only half of their value to making up the cage total. So if that square was a 9, it would be worth 4.5 for the value for getting towards the 31 in the cage there. Absolutely lovely, and apparently this is a brilliant puzzle. We've already had 2 or 3 recommendations to try it, and I think it's quite a new puzzle as well. So this is what we're going to have a look at in today's video. And today actually feels like the first day of spring here in the UK. It's the first day for ages that's actually been warm and sunny, so it's been beautiful, and hopefully that heralds the end of the wet weather. Now, what do I have to tell you about before I read you the rules of this one properly? Not much. I've got some birthdays to do. Just a reminder, if you're a patron of the channel and you're working towards completing our competition for March, you need to get your entries in by the 20th of the month. So we are closing in on the 20th already. I think that's everything actually. So I'll just do some birthdays. I will wish Heather a very happy 32nd birthday, and this is from your husband Jordan. And apparently the two of you have been watching for about 1.5 years, and when you first started watching, Heather didn't even know what a Sudoku was, but now regularly it's sort of shouting at me. That's fantastic. Well done, Heather. And I understand you're having triple chocolate cake today, so it's going to be a good birthday. Many happy returns. And that now it's not another birthday of Heather, but this is a message from Heather to boyfriend Alex, who's turned the big 30 today. Alex's favourite Christmas present was the Kickstarter book, which matched or was on a par with all other Christmas gifts. So delighted to hear that, Alex. Many happy returns. I hope you have chocolate cake obviously today as well. And then finally Zach has turned 81 today. That is a great age. I know this, Zach, because your wife Em wrote to us and say that you watch most evenings with your puppy Noodle curled up on your lap, which that's brilliant to hear. Isn't that fantastic? So Zach, many happy returns. I hope you have chocolate cake. Celebrate 81 years old. I should think that's got to be a prerequisite. Now, with all that said and done, let's have a look at the rules of this Tangram Killer. I've no idea how you made these graphics work, Michael, but you obviously did. These are the rules. We've got normal Sudoku rules apply, so we've got to put the digits 1 to 9 once each in every row, in every column, and in every 3x3 box. Digits in a cage sum to the number in its corner. Okay. Cells that half appear in a cage only contribute half their value to its sum, so we've looked at that already. Digits appear at most once in the same cage. Half appearing twice counts as appearing once. Okay, what does that mean? Digits... Okay, so I think what that's saying is the normal rules of Sudoku or Killer Sudoku would say a digit can only appear once in a cage. Now obviously if a digit is just in the same box of the Sudoku, we can't for example put 2 2s in this box, because if we did that would break the rules of Sudoku. I'm actually trying to see a cage where we could put, oh, maybe that cage. Yeah. That cage could have 2 in. That cage could have 2 in. I was trying to find a cage that could have 2 digits the same. So I think this is saying that in this puzzle, you could repeat a digit in a cage, but only if it appears as half twice. So there. That's a possibility. That's how you could do it. There is a possibility as well. Both of those cells are half cells. So if imagine these were both 3s, they would be a value 6, which would then get halved to be a value 3, and these two squares would have to add up to 9, I think is how that works. Anyway, do have a go. I don't think this is meant to be too difficult. I think it's sort of 2 or 3 stars for difficulty out of 5. The way to play is to click the link under the video as usual. But now I get to play. Let's get cracking. I can see lots of sort of... I mean, that shape... which is sort of that Star Wars thing at the start of Star Wars, that vehicle that goes along. You know the one I mean, the Star Wars vehicle. That's got to have, I'm going to claim, an even digit there, because it's only got 1 halved cell in it. So if that was an odd digit, this couldn't have an integer solution, because it would need this. The value of this will contribute. If this was a 9, it would contribute 4.5 to the total, and that's going to contribute its whole value. So we should have 13.5 here or something. So I think anything that looks like a Star Wars vehicle, that one as well actually, I think all of those have to be even. That's probably not going to matter very much, but I'll make blue is my even colour normally. I'll make them 2, 4, 6 and 8. 7 cage looks perverse to me. I'm going to look at that in a moment. I'm just trying to see. I mean, that's a 2 cage. That's a Star Wars vehicle 2 cage. How? Yeah, that cage is a gimme. This must be a 1 and then a 2 here. There's no way that can be anything else, is there? Because we can't write a 2 here, because I can't make the value of this 0. So I have to write a 1 here, and then half of 2 is 1. So that's a bit of a giveaway, I think. I should probably work out what the counterparts of these even digits is. So if this is a 2, counting 1 in a 10 cage, that's a 9. Yeah, so this is 9, 8, 7 or 6 into this square. This one is, well, this is not 2, because if it's 2, it counts as 1, and that has to be a 12, and that's not a Sudoku. Okay, so this has to be an 8 then, because you only improve your lot by 1 each time, don't you? So 4 would count as 2, requiring 11. 6 would count as 3, requiring 10. So this is 8. This is 9. Okay, so that's really strange. It's strange that a 13 cage is actually a sort of write-in, if you understand the rules. What's about... Oh, hang on. Yeah, okay, so the total value of this cage, each digit is halved, and the stated value is 2. So the actual digits we put in here must add up to double 2, which is 4, which means this is a 1-3 pair. It's the only way of making 4 in 2 different Sudoku numbers. So 1 is in one of those 2 squares. I mean, that is ludicrously early for you to make me to do Sudoku, Juggler. Absolutely ridiculous. What about this one? So if that's a 2, this is a 6. So 6, 5, 4 or 3 is what I'm expecting there. Let's just double check the other end of that. 8 would give us a 4, so we need to add 3 to that. Yeah, so that feels right. What about that one? Can that really be 8? Yes, it can. If that's 8, that would be valued 4, which could go with a 1. So, okay. So that all sort of works. I'm trying not to sneeze. If I sneeze, I will have to edit the video, because that'll be just an explosion. And I know some people to watch the videos to go to sleep, and that would be a disaster. What about this one? Okay. Oh, sorry. Yeah, look, this is worth 1 in a 17 cage. So those have to add up to 16. So they must be 7 and 9, and we can actually place those. So that's 9, that's 7. There's a 9 out down here. My sneeze has gone away, thank goodness. Should we have a look? Oh, that can't be 9 anymore. So that can't be 2 anymore. I was going to say, should we have a look at the 31 cage? Is that restricted if you have to halve some of the digits? It might be. If we max these out, they would be 7, 8 and 9. They would be 24. So these would have to have a value of 31 minus 24 is 7. So these would have to have a value of 14 in order to have their halved value being 7 without using 7, 8 and 9. So 6, 5 and 4 is not going to work. That's going to give us a non-integer solution. 6, 5 and 3 might work. Let me just write that in. 3, 5 and 6. 14. Halve that, we get 7. And then this would be 7, 8, 9. Now, so there's not many degrees of freedom there. If I make that 9, 8, 6, that would be 23. I then have to increase this by 2 to make that work. That's annoying. There is another way that this works. Look at that. If I take the 7 out and put 6 in, then I need to increase this by effectively 2 from its value of 3, 5, 6. Because I need it to be, once it's halved, it's got to be worth a whole 1 extra. But I can do that because if I reinstall the 4, which I didn't have available before, and I change the 6 to the 7 that I now have available, I can restore, I think, the whole caboodle. Let me just check the maths of this. I've got 23. I need 8 here. Yeah, and I've got 16 halved, so that works. Bobbins. So there are 2 ways of doing this. Okay, but 8 and 9 are always going to have to be in those squares, which means 8 is not there. So 8 is in one of these 3 squares by Sudoku. So these squares that are sort of fully in the cage are from 6, 7, 8 and 9, definitely. And that's not 8. And these squares are from, these have loads of options. They're either 3, 5, 6, or they're 4, 5, 7. So 1 and 2 have to be there. And what was the digit? Was it 5, I think, was always on this diagonal. No. I don't think I should have looked at this 31 cage. It's just confusing me. What about the 7 cage then? What's going on there? See, normally when you see I wanted to describe that as a 3-cell 7 cage, but it's not. It's a 4-cell 7 cage because both of these are contributing half their value to it. So ordinarily this couldn't work because normally a 7 in 3 cells is 1, 2, 4, but clearly it can work here. These have to have the same parity. Because if one of these is odd, the other will have to be odd. And if one of them is even and the other's odd, you're going to introduce a half into the total. So these are of the same parity. So if these were even parity, they would be at least a 4 and a 6. And 4 and 6 halved. No, that's wrong. That is wrong. These are not even. Because if they're even, they're at least a 4, 6 pair, which halved is 5, and I can't make those 2 squares, which fully contribute, add up to 2, because they can't both be 1. So these are actually odd digits, and they're not 7 or 9. So these are from 1, 3, and 5. They are presumably 1 and 3 then. Let's think about that. 1, 3 is 4, that gives you 2. These have to add up to 5. That doesn't work. I think I might have got this wrong, actually. I'm a bit worried. Well, let's just try 1, 5. If this is 1, 5, that contributes 3. So these have to add up to 4. That doesn't work because I can't repeat the 1. 3, 5 is 8 contributing. Oh, and that does work with 1, 2. That's so strange to me. Well, I'm delighted it works, but I'm very surprised. So actually you have to put the maximum odd digits in there, because that frees up the 1. Yeah, okay, I sort of do get that actually. Yeah, you get the maximum bang for your buck with the low digits if you include them not in the halvers, if you see what I mean. Because the halver effect is maximised the bigger the digit. You get the biggest drop in value, if you see what I mean. So by putting 3 and 5 in, I can reduce the value by a whole 4. If I only put 1 and 3 in, for example, then I'd only reduce their natural value of 4 to a 2, so I'd only get 2 as the bang for my buck. So, okay, alright, that does sort of make sense. So I think this has to be 3, 5, and this has to be 1, 2, and we can do some work with that. 2. Oh, 2 has only got 2 places here. Those two are going to have to have the same parity as well. We're going to have exactly the same thing going on with this cage. We'll look at that next. Let me just see if I can do any Sudoku. 1 comes out of there. 1 goes in here. 1 is not here anymore. Don't know if I can do better than that. Can I do... no, that... yeah, I can get rid of a 2 from this, which is going to get rid of a 6 from this square. And let's check the parity here then. So what we've worked out is where we have 2 of these in a cage, they have to have the same parity. Now, well, oh, actually that's beautiful. That is beautiful. Look, I've used up 4 odd digits in this column. There are only 5 Sudoku digits that are odd. So I can't. This is even digits. It must be even. We can't put 1 in here along with an even digit. Ah, look. So all of the even digits are used up in those 5 squares of box 8. These have to both be even. The 2 is over here. So all 4 even digits, 2, 4, 6, and 8, reside within these, which means all of these are odd. And these are odd. That's got to be a 1 by sort of oddly Sudoku. Ah, that 1 is useful, so that's 1 and that's 3. So 1 is in the corner, no song, but that's beautiful. Then this has to have a value of 4, which means it's an 8. That's not an 8 at the top of the grid, so that's not a 3. Oh, that's not a 3 in the corner. That's right, isn't it? I'm going to double check because we do get a lot of 3s in the corner. If that's can't be 8, that's a value of 4, yeah, which would need a 3 to get up to 7. Oh, so have I made a mistake here then? Can I remove 4 from these? 5. If that's 4, its value is 2. Oh, no, it doesn't. I wondered if the 4s go together. They don't. They don't. So if this is 4, that's a 5. And if this is 6, that's a 4. So there is a 4 in one of those squares. I don't know if that matters. I get a 1 there by Sudoku. That's in a 9 cage. Again, these are going to have the same parity, aren't they? So if they were both even, one of these would be a 2. They're not going to get big enough. Oh goodness, this is so... I find this very difficult actually. It's not difficult, it's just... No, it's surprising is a better word. Because putting a 1 in a 3-cell 9 cage is a very normal thing to do in a Sudoku, and not think twice really about these digits. There would be a couple of ways of doing it, 1, 2, 6 and 1, 3, 5. But actually, here, these are totally forced and have to be enormous. Because basically they have to contribute 8 to the 9 cage, but they have to be doubled because each of the digits is halved. Therefore they have to add up to 16, which means they are 7 and 9, and I can write them in. That's so weird. So that's 9, that's 7. 7 is in one of those 3 squares. How many 9s have we? Oh no, we have only got 3 9s in the grid. 9 pencil mark can come out of those cells. We probably need to think about these other cages very soon as well. Let me just mull this over for a second or two before we plunge in and do more. Oh, these are opposite parity, aren't they? Because that's odd. That's going to contribute an integer. This has contributed a half. So one of these has to contribute a half. So one of these is odd, one of these is even. And the odd number is at least a 5. But we could repeat 9, couldn't we? We are allowed to repeat 9 because we could put 9 there under the strange rules, because 2 9s halved only counts as 1 9 for the purposes of the cage. If it was 2 9s, then I suppose those 2 9s halved would contribute 9, and the other 2 digits would have to contribute 3. With that, oh, that doesn't work, because that would be a 3, because it can't be a 1 or a 2, and that would have to contribute 0, which is impossible. So this is, well, no, okay, so the odd digit that's contributing to the 12 cage is a 5 or a 7. If it was a 7, it would have to go there. So let's think about that. If that's a 7, these are 16, they're contributing 8. These have to contribute... No, that doesn't work either. That still doesn't work. So what I hadn't thought about is I can't put 1 in here. I don't think this works. Let me just go through it again. If that's 7, 16 halved is 8. That's at least a 3. So now I'm up to 11. Oh no, this can be a 2. Oh, sorry. It can be a 2 because it gets halved and only has a value of 1. Ah! Oh dear. Okay, sorry. I was about to make a ricket there. What about that? That's not 8. Can we work out how much we have to contribute to this 13 cage? If these were... Do we want to minimize them or maximize them? Don't really know. Let's just do the math. So 4 and 6 would be 10, contributing 5, which would mean these have to add up to 8. They could be a 3-5 pair. Oh, they both are odd. That must be it. There's no other way of making this work, I don't think, because that's the absolute minimum I can put in here. So let me just check that. If I make this 4-8 on the other hand, which is the next lowest total I could make, these would add up to 12, which would contribute 6, which would mean these have to add up to 7 in odd numbers. That's impossible. Right, so this is 3-5. This is 4-6. That is 8, contributing 4 to that, so that's 6. That's an 8 by Sudoku of all things. Can I put 8 there? I doubt it. No, because this is worth 4.5 in the 12 cage. So 8 goes there. Can I put 8 here? Surely not. That's 8. No. That's already 3.5, and I can't keep these 2 cells down to a half. Right, so that's not 8. This is 8. 8 goes in the corner, I believe, from our earlier pencil marking, which might be important. 8 can be placed in this box. Oh, that's been available for a while. Sorry, from column 5. Look, have I done all the 8s? No, but I can do. There we go. 6 here gives me some more digits. Look, 6 and 4 by Sudoku. 6 is in one of these 3 squares. I wonder if it can be in the cage. I'm going to think about that in a moment. Let's just see if we can do anything else that's simple before we have to sully our minds by thinking about these halving values all the time. What about... Oh, bobbins, I don't know. What are those 3 digits? 2, 7 and 9. It's probably worth a pencil mark, isn't it? 2, 7, 9. And Okay, I don't know how to do that. I know the parity of this. That is actually a sensible point. But because this is odd, and the value of it therefore is halved. So I need this to be an odd number, so that the half can be offset with another half here. Now this can't be 1, 3, or 5, so that is 7 or 9, which is a pair in the column actually. So now these squares are a 4, 6 pair, I think. I'm just pausing there to see if I can see how these are resolved. I'm not sure I can. Okay, so how does this work then? So if this is 9, we'd have 16 halved. No, that doesn't work because these are both normal, so they're fully counting. So if this is 9, I get 16 in those squares. Half of that is 8. These have to add up to 4, which would have to be a 1, 3 pair, and it can't be. So that is 7, and that is why that rule is there. Look. In the thing about half of the 2 7s in the cage would ordinarily be like, well, it'd be like a robin redbreast in a cage sets all heaven in a rage. 2 7s in a cage would set Simon in a rage. Anyway, so that's not going to work. So those are worth 7. So these have to be worth 5, and they don't involve 1. So that's a 2, 3 pair. Sorry, that's totally straightforward. All of a sudden 2 is not in those squares anymore, so that's 2. That's not doing... no, I can see something that is doing. I'm going to come back to that in a moment. Yes, what I was going to say, I couldn't see anything else, but look, 3 is now not there, which means 3 is on the diagonal here, and therefore we're not in that world that was something like 7, 5, 4 down here, are we? If we've got 3 on the diagonal, we're in the version where this was maxed out. So this is 7, 8, 9. And this had to contribute, I think it was 3, 5, 6, 14 halved to contribute 7 to get us up to 31. So that is going to be helpful, probably. That's not 3. These squares are 1 and 4, I want to say. Yes, okay, now there's a 4 in this domino and a 4 in this domino, so 4 in row 2 can be placed. It's got to be there, so that's become a 6. So these are 3, 4 and 5 by Sudoku. These are 9 and something, 6 and 9, I think. So this is 5, 6 or 9. Oh, Bobbin's probably going to have to do this cage. That wouldn't surprise me, actually. It's... Oh, Maverick. I can hear Maverick. Maverick's coming to join the party. Can we do anything else? How do we resolve... Oh, 7 there. That gives me a 9 there, look. What about... I was going to say 3 in the top row, but that's not a good... No, that's still ambiguous. Still got 2 possible positions. Oh, that can't be a 6, look. Okay. Sorry, I was looking at... Was it that 9 I got, didn't I? So I get a 2, 7 pair here. How many... Oh, no, still got a real... There's a real dearth of 9s in this grid. 9 in box 1 has to be on the left-hand side, so 9 is on the right-hand side of box 7. Can we do any better than that? I don't know. I don't know. Okay, so I think we are going to have to think about this. Now, what's the best way to think about this? Can it have a 6 in it? Maybe that's the sensible question. So if one of these is a 6, the other odd digit that we know we need here is at least 5. So we'd have 6, 5 and 9 being halved, which is 20 being halved. That would have to be a 2, and it can't be. There's a 2 looking at it. So there is no 6 in there. That's good. Right, so there's a 6 here. Now that means... what does that mean? Can that be a 6 now? Let's try that. If that's a 6... I find it hard to believe that. No, these can't add up to only 1.5. Because they're doubled, that's 3. And there's no... they'd have to be a 1-2 pair, which they can't be. So that's not 6. So this is 6. Which means 6 is in one of those 2 squares. We're still not quite done here, are we? Where is... sorry about this. Where's 7 in this box? Oh, bobbins. That's been available for ages. 7 in this box, I think, is forced into this square. Which gives me a 7 and a 9. Ah. 9 here by Sudoku. Yeah, where's 7 in box 9? By Sudoku, it's in one of 2 places. That tidies up 7 and 2 in box 8. Gives me a 7 and a 9 in box 7, which is lovely. Gives me a 9 in box 9. Here we go. How many 9? I feel like I've got loads of 9s. 9 and 6 here. I've got all the 9s. Now that's a 6, so that's a 5, that's a 3, and that's a 6. That's a 6, therefore, by Sudoku. That's a 7 by Sudoku, so that's a 7. We've probably got all the 7s now as well. Yes, we do. Have we got all the 6s? No, but we can get them. There has to be a 6 here by Sudoku, and that's in the last... well, not the last, but it's in a cage thing. So that contributes 3. So that needs to be a 4 in the corner. That's a 5, that's a 5, that's a 3. And we can probably... no, or maybe we can't. I don't know. These are from 2, 3 and 4. Let's actually pencil mark that up. That's not 3. That's not 4. That's even. That's no use to man nor beast, is it? This has got to therefore be odd. And it's therefore 5. Because it sees all the other odd digits. So now we've got 14 halved, which is 7. Plus half of this, which is 1 or 2. So this is 3 or 4. No. That's very annoying. Okay, I can't see how mathematically what I've just said there is wrong. It's probably just going to be Sudoku. That's 2 or 4. These are 2, 4 or 5. That's never 2. Ah, yeah, 2 goes there. Okay, that's going to do it. So this becomes 4, which counts as 2. I needed those 2 to add up to 5. So that becomes 3. 3, 2, 4 all go into the grid. Probably going to get chocolate teapotted, are we here? That's definitely not 7. That's a 4 or a 5, which is a pair in this column. So that makes this a 4, and this a 1, and this a 1, and this a something, which is the technical term for a 3. So that's not 3, which means this is 3. These 2 squares are 4 and 2, which we can put in. So that becomes 5, 5, 4. That becomes 5 and 4. I think we're now, well, we ought to be just tidying up. This is a 2, 3, well, famous last words. No, that's fine. 2 and 3. And what have we got here? 2 and 5, which looks right. That feels right from a Sudoku perspective. What a brilliant puzzle. What a brilliant puzzle, yes. How many people? Look at this, 134 in just 2.7 days. Very popular. Well, I'm not surprised. That is fantastic. It's a fantastic idea. And it really plays with your head. Like that I mean, I only really understood, I know it sounds stupid, but I only really understood that once I really had to step back and think about it. My favourite bits were the parity tricks, actually. The fact that you could do so much with parity was gorgeous. It's a lovely idea. I think this has certainly got legs for more puzzles of this nature. Tangram Killer Sudoku. That's just great, isn't it? The ingenuity of these constructors is so wonderful. Please give Juggler / Michael Lefkowitz some love in the comments. Definitely deserved, in my opinion. Take a bow, Michael, and we'll be back later with another edition of Cracking the Cryptic.